I'm Hannah.
And I am Nate.
And this is
The Tea is Haunted. This is our podcast where we talk about all things spooky and pop culture. And as you can guys see from today's backdrop, if you are watching this, as you can see, we decorated it kind of cutely for the theme of today's video.
And our outfits match the theme
Yes,
as well.
they do. If you are listening through Spotify, we decorated the room full of Wizard of Oz and Wicked theme items.
Yeah.
Because today's episode is in honor of Wicked for Good, which will be in theaters this upcoming Friday.
Woo!
And
so exciting.
Right? I'm so excited. As you can see. But no, for real. Me and Hannah both talked about this. We both grew up with The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And we also both grew up with loving Wicked too.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, you said you were always a Broadway girly.
Yes, I've always been a Broadway fan. I actually didn't. I've known about Wicked, but I've never seen the Broadway play.
Really?
And I don't know the whole script. So this next movie is like kind of a surprise.
I don't think she's ready for Wicked for Good.
I'm not.
She's definitely not.
I know that I'm going to cry.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So, in honor in celebrating the cast and the crew, and also The Wizard of Oz, which again, one of my personal favorite movies of all time. Which I know that's another thing we bonded over. We both grew up with The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
So, in honor of Wicked release, and of course we want to honor The Wizard of Oz because we would not have Wicked without The Wizard of Oz.
True.
So, we are going to dedicate this episode and call it The Wicked World of The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be deep diving into the history, the true, the dark, maybe a little twisted, depends how you see it. However, we are also going to be talking about how it became essentially first a flop. It was not even doing good in the box offices when it first released, which we will talk about.
Yeah.
However, it ended up becoming one of the most classic, even if not the most classic. I feel like it is the most classic.
I feel like it is. Like, you see it referenced everywhere.
You really do. You really, really do. It's become such a cultural phenomenon, and same goes for Wicked. We are now at this new era of Oz where we're being reintroduced to these characters, but we're thinking about it flipped on its head almost.
Yeah.
Because Wicked takes the concept of the Wizard of Oz and just flips it. So, I think, without further ado, let's get into the deep dive and just the overall history of the Wizard of Oz and Wicked. Where did they come from? Where did they originate from?
Mm-hmm.
What was the history? How were they filmed? What was it like being on set?
Yeah.
All the different things. So if you guys are not watching through via YouTube, I have a notebook, which is also a Wicked notebook.
Mm-hmm. And
it is filled with notes, top to bottom, of Wicked and Wizard of Oz facts. And I'm not going to lie, I was a Wizard of Oz freak as a child. My 13th birthday party was a Wizard of Oz themed. I was obsessed. One year for Halloween, me and my sisters actually dressed up as the Wizard of Oz characters.
Really?
I was Tin Man.
Oh.
Yes, big Wizard of Oz fan. So some of these facts I knew myself, but other things I wanted to double check my research because we are going to talk about this. There has been a lot of misspread information about the Wizard of Oz that people claim to be dark and twisted, but necessarily some of the rumors are not true, but some of them are half true. So, let's deep dive into this. So, where did the Wizard of Oz come from? Where did it originate from? So, this author named L. Frank Baum created the Wizard of Oz in 1900. And it became a classic hit throughout the kids. It was mostly a kids book targeted towards kids.
Right.
But it was coming out at a time where the world was starting to go downhill, which, hate to say it, where we're going now is also kind of downhill, so it hasn't gotten any better. But besides...
Tea.
Yeah, tea.
But true.
Yeah, but besides the point, he just wanted to kind of, escape from the reality of what was going on and create this world. And it was loved by so many, to the point where everyone knows the big company MGM. big movie company, they actually bought the rights to the Wizard of Oz books and wanted to turn it into a film. And that is where we come into play with the modern day Wizard of Oz, filmed in 1939. And what's crazy is the movie, when it first began, had a very rocky start. It was rocky from the start. They actually went through 5 different directors until they actually found a main director that could stand the ground and film The Wizard of Oz.
Crazy.
That's what I'm saying. They went through 5 directors.
Do you know how annoying that would be?
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't even imagine.
And they didn't give up.
No, they didn't. And I actually wrote it down here. So filming started on October 13th, 1938, and it was finished on March 16th, 1939. So it's about a year. And the premiere was on August 25th, 1939. And like I said earlier in the video, when it was first launched into theaters, it actually didn't do well. It completely flopped. I mean, it didn't completely flop. It had reviews and it was still getting somewhat praise.
Yeah.
But it released at a time where, guys, we're going to kind of talk about some sketchy subjects here and there. So I'm just going to throw out some like warnings. We're going to be talking about Hitler and Nazis. So just going to throw that out there right now. So if that's a sensitive subject, I'm sorry.
Crazy that it ties into this.
It does, but it ties into this multiple different times. I'm not going to lie, this is not the first time, or the last, I'm actually going to mention Nazis in Germany, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. I know, it's a lot. So, it released at a time where Hitler was in power of Germany. And the press tour fully didn't get to go because they were supposed to go to Russia. But at the time, they were beginning the war. So they weren't showing any movies. And at the time, Hitler banned any types of new movies coming into play. So The Wizard of Oz was one of the new movies. So it was never shown in Germany until a couple years later.
Which is crazy.
Yep. So that's why it actually essentially flopped. But what's crazy is 10 years later, I believe it was, let me make sure I'm correct on my information. Yes, it was, 10 years later, 1949, it was a cable company that bought the rights to The Wizard of Oz, and they premiered it on television every single year. And that's how The Wizard of Oz eventually became a cult classic movie, because it was played on TV every single year.
Wild.
Families would gather and have supper and have a family movie night just to watch The Wizard of Oz. Apparently, it was over 1 million plus people tuned in every month to watch The Wizard of Oz.
My mom said that every year, every Thanksgiving, her whole family would watch The Wizard of Oz together.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like a family movie.
That's what I'm saying. And it's insane because when you really think about it, which we're going to talk about, there has been a lot of rumors, speculation, innuendo, outnuendo, and also some very sad accidents that have happened on the set, which has caused the movie to kind of seem it has quote-unquote bad luck. However, in retrospect, it's one of the most beloved films in cinema history, and you can't deny that.
Right.
I mean, it's insane.
I think almost everyone knows what The Wizard of Oz is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you don't, I'm not gonna lie when I say this, don't take offense to anyone who's listening or watching, but I'm scared of you. You should know The Wizard of Oz. I mean, come on now. It's such a cult classic. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I would hope. But
I just want to know how you haven't.
That's what I'm saying. Could you imagine not knowing The Wizard of Oz?
No.
Guys, comment below if you did not know what The Wizard of Oz was before Wicked. If you didn't, I'm so sorry. That's all I'm going to say. Because I knew about The Wizard of Oz way before Wicked.
I feel like you can't know Wicked and not know The
That's
Wizard
what I'm saying, because it's literally the prelude, which put a pin in that conversation. But back to this, this is a category I would love to talk about because there has been, like I said, a lot of innuendo, outnuendo, rumors, and also true facts that have been spread about the onset of The Wizard of Oz, and I cannot not talk about it because it is a part of its history.
Mm-hmm.
As everyone knows, when The Wizard of Oz was being filmed, there was a lot of different casualties that happened on set, unfortunately. So we're gonna go in order because a lot happened.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to address is the elephant in the room because it makes me upset personally, and I'm smiling because I don't like the subject, but I have to deal with it. If you know me, if anyone knows me, which I know you guys watching probably know the kind of person I am, and obviously Hannah, you're my best friend, you know me for this, but
yeah.
I'm a massive Judy Garland fan.
Big fan.
She's one of my favorite. She is my favorite actress of all time.
Yeah.
She is so talented. She did not deserve the demons that she had. She is such a pure angel, and I would literally do anything to meet her. But yeah,
yeah.
So besides the point, I want to talk about the things that Judy went through because she went through a lot in her life, and I just want to pay my respects to her. So, a minute of silence for Miss Judy, please. Thank you. So, when it came to Judy, she obviously had a drug addiction at a young age, and this was proven, and well, I mean, it was said by people in her life. Judy's mother actually put her on the drugs at a very young age to keep her either asleep or waking when she was working. Keep in mind, Judy was the one that was putting bread on the table for the family.
A child.
A child. She literally was 16 on the set of The Wizard of Oz. She was 16. So, the one misconception is that she would have 80 cigarettes a day and she would not eat, which that is half true. Judy did not have 80 cigarettes a day. It was about 80 cigarettes a day. It could be less or about. And it's not that she didn't eat. She did eat on set. However, she was on a strict diet and she mostly ate chicken broth on set. And her drink was coffee. And that's what she mostly ate on the set. And not to mention, there was one time while she was on set where her and Bert Lahr, who was the Cowardly Lion, her and him were actually filming the infamous, the scene where they're in the forest and he's making that brrr noise to her and she's like chasing him, bops him on the nose. That scene, okay. He would make that noise and she would literally just lose it. She thought it was so funny. She couldn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
And she kept on laughing because, well, I mean, she's a 16-year-old. Oh, I almost dropped the book. I'm so sorry, guys. Thank God y'all did not see that through the one end. But for this on screen, I had to catch that. But besides the point, they were filming the scene and she kept on laughing. That's when the director, instead of pulling her off to the side or, telling her just to stop, literally walks up to her in front of all the MGM producers, executives on set. Even her co-stars were watching. Walked up to Judy, slapped her right upside the face. Just slapped her.
I cannot imagine doing that.
She just...
A director. Like, what?
Yeah.
That isn't your child. That isn't someone for you to discipline.
That's what I'm saying. She legit bop. And she excused herself for a couple minutes, came back, and after they filmed the scene, she did not laugh. But that is one of the true incidences that happened on set, and that's some of the true things that she endured on set. One thing we will cover real quick, because it kind of ties into this, is the rumors about the Munchkins lifting up her skirt and touching her, which I want to say... That was actually said by Judy Garland's ex-husband, and he was known to be a liar and very vindictive.
Oh.
So, I really wouldn't trust his word. Plus, he said that Judy told him on his own time, and he said this closely to the end, if not the end of Judy's life. I don't really know. I didn't look up that part. I don't know when he actually said that. But there was a time where he ended up speaking for her when she never verbally came out and said that.
Yeah.
And she's never said anything about the Munchkins. Not that I've done my research on. She's not said anything horrible about them. Apparently, from what MGM people said, is that the Munchkins were horrendous to work with because they would just be party animals and they would just drink and go to bars and hit on girls and just kind of be, I guess, menaces in a way.
Do you think that's true, or do you think that's people trying to
I
talk
think
badly about?
You know what's crazy? I think it's half true. I think some of them did. I think some of them, like you said, because they were in that crowd. Because okay, let's say if you were an actor at that time and you worked with them and you were associated with that group, the whole group's gonna be blamed, not just that one person.
Yeah.
So I believe to a degree, yes. Do I believe that some of them may have done that? Absolutely. I mean, you're thinking of like the 1930s, right after the whole like prohibition thing happened.
Plus, there was a lot of them. There was a lot of Munchkins.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not really surprised. But as for that, there's no, there's no true confirmation. It's just word.
Yeah.
And of course, when we tie up the whole Munchkin thing, I cannot not talk about this because it's very infamous and it has been debunked over the years, but it's an honorable mention because it's highly talked about amongst many conspiracy theorists, which I know you're smiling, you already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There was a big conspiracy theory for many, 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 many years that a Munchkin climbed on top of the tree while they were filming the Tin Man scene when they were skipping off, and right when they were turning around that corner, hung himself. And there have been multiple, I guess you could say rewatches and remakings, like I don't know how to describe it. You know, like when they refurbish films, like yes. So they did that like a couple different times with The Wizard of Oz, and when you look at it, it is a crane. And it was known that they did have live animals on the set, like birds and other like animals, like butterflies and stuff. They did have that on set. That was real animals. And they did say that there was a crane on set. So in the background, it was a crane, not a Munchkin.
I was laughing because I've always loved like paranormal stuff. Obviously, we talk about paranormal stuff on this channel as well. But I remember in so many videos, like a couple years ago, they were talking about that specific instance. Like people were always talking about the Munchkin hanging. Yeah. And I remember thinking, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, and it was never. It's been a false narrative thing that has been debunked so many times, and people still say that it's a thing and it still exists, but no, it's a crane, guys.
I wonder who started that rumor.
Probably an MGM executive producer. I mean, you got to think about it. Back then, the little people, the Munchkins, which that's actually a very horrible term to even call them.
Yeah.
But they they were the outcasts of Hollywood.
Right.
So it makes sense for them to kind of start such a horrendous rumor.
True.
But besides the Munchkins and Judy, they were not the only ones that endured things on the set. Our beautiful Elphaba, aka the Wicked Witch of the West, played by Margaret Hamilton. We love Margaret Hamilton. She actually was a teacher, and she had a son while she was filming. And, she endured a lot. So she, as you guys know, if you don't know, I'm pretty sure most of us here are Wizard of Oz Wicked fans, so we know our facts. But of course, this video deep dives into things. So if you don't know this fact, this one's for you. So everyone knows the infamous scene, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too." And she goes down under the trap door and the smoke comes up, and it's one of the most iconic scenes in all of cinema history.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you guys know that she actually suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns due to that? So while they were filming The Wizard of Oz, there was a little trap door that would drop, and then there would be like a delay where she would like go under the stage, and then the fire would come up. So they actually did the first take. It was actually good. But the director was like, "No, I want another take. I want another take." And that's when Margaret was like, okay, yeah. So they do another take. And when she went down, the smoke came up, but it was delayed. The fire didn't come up right away because it was the smoke and then the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So as it lowers down, she finally hits the bottom. The smoke's done. The fire goes up. And she's engulfed in flames. And this is why. Her makeup, the green paint makeup, actually had copper in it.
Mm-hmm.
And copper attracts heat.
Oh my god.
So even when they put out the fire on her, the feeling of the burning was still on her skin because of the paint that they used.
That is horrible.
And it was also rumored, which I couldn't find if this was true, but after the filming, sometimes they said that the green paint would dye parts of her skin, like her skin would be green.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh my gosh, poor girl.
Trust me, it does. It gets even better. So she goes away for about like a week and a half or like a week. I don't know the exact time, but it's like a week and something.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comes back on set. And then legit, after she's recovered, keep in mind, she is freshly recovering, by the way. They tell her they want to shoot a scene with her on a broom with smoke coming out of it. And that's when Margaret puts her foot down and goes, no, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not doing this. I have a kid. I have a life to live. Yeah. I literally just got burned.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. And that's when she was like, you can get my stunt double to do it. And that's when they were like, oh, well, but we can give you like a fireproof suit if you want. And she's like, no, I don't want to do it. And that's when one of the executive producers, who was kind of closer to Margaret, tried to convince her. But even with him, she put her foot down. Mm-hmm. But thank God she did, because we'll come back to that. So that's when they get Margaret's stunt double. And obviously at the time, stunt doubles were just kind of like fill-ins because the actor didn't want to do what they wanted to do for safety precautions. And that's when the actress gets on top of the broom. They harnessed her up. They get the shots that they want. Mm-hmm. And as she's midair, the broom explodes in between her legs.
Horrible.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And she was hospitalized.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Did you know that?
Jaw drop.
Wow. Did you not know that?
I didn't know that before we talked about it.
Yep, that happened. That happened on the set.
Wild.
And that's is factual.
Horrible.
And that's factual.
Why were so many things going wrong with this film?
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you really think about, like, how it was so messy, but then after, like I said, this whole podcast is supposed to tie it all together. Yeah. So when you think about it, all this bad stuff happened, and this is just, we're basically getting to, like, the grid of it. Right. We're getting to, like, the meat here soon. So getting to know the world of Oz in its entirety just shows there is the good and the bad. Yeah. And especially with production back then, when it came to making these type of films. Oh my. And that actually leads into our other two boys of The Wizard of Oz. We have Jack Haley, who was the Tin Man. Mm-hmm. Did you know that he actually was not originally cast as the Tin Man? It was another guy. However, another casualty. Are we surprised?
No.
So, I'm going to read my notes real quick to give you the exact description of what it used. So, the first actor, his makeup was made out of aluminum loose powder. And basically, while he was on set, he was breathing in these, like, toxic fumes. Because remember, guys, back then they didn't know that shit was toxic. Right. So he was breathing it in, and it eventually caused him to be hospitalized. And he never came back to film. He just dipped after this all happened. And what's crazy is throughout the end of his, throughout the rest of his life, I almost said the end of his life. Well, technically, it kind of caused a demise, but he suffered with lung issues for the rest of his life because of that.
That's so sad.
And now we move on to, Jack Haley. Thank goodness for him. They did change his makeup. Instead of using the aluminum loose powder, they used aluminum paste, which still isn't good for your skin.
Right.
But it was better than everything else.
Right.
Not to mention the two things that him and Margaret had in common was because of her copper makeup in his aluminum tin, they basically couldn't eat on set, and if they did, they would have to eat very carefully because if anything got inside of their mouth, it could kill them.
That is crazy.
Yep. Margaret Hamilton, when she would actually eat, she would actually have to like eat like around, or she would actually like pick it up with a fork and like put it in her mouth. That's what I'm saying. And
this seems cursed.
And the craziest the second to craziest one that I love talking about because it still blows me away is sorry, give me 1 sec. Bert Lahr, who played the Cowardly Lion, his suit was made out of real lion fur and real lion skin.
Oh my gosh.
And only 2 of the lion skins were made out of real lion skin. There was a misconception online that there was multiple lion skins. That was not true. They only had 2 made out of real actual lion skins. And the one was actually used by his stunt double, while the other one was used by him, but they mostly used the one by him because the 2 different lion manes had different colors. Oh. And you could tell. So they wanted to mostly use the one so no audiences could tell.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So little fact for you. But when it came to all these people, they had to be careful with what they ate and be careful with what they did. So that's one thing that was true at the Wizard of Oz, which is a fact. Dieting was a very important thing on set, so no one would end up hurting themselves. Mm-hmm. Which I want to come back to Judy for a second to tie up the whole dieting thing, because I'm not going to let MGM get away with this. They actually, because they had Judy on a strict diet, behind her back, they would call her a pig with pigtails.
Horrible people. Horrible people.
Keep in mind, 16-year-old little girl.
Yeah, this is Hollywood.
Who was trying to just put bread on the table for her family because she had to be the breadwinner. Let's just think about that for a minute, people. Let's just really think about that. But, it was really crazy. And the one thing that I will end off before we close the Wizard of Oz cycle is the reason why I mentioned the whole Hitler Nazi thing earlier was not also because of that. It was also rumored that the director was pro-Nazi, but it was never confirmed. It was never denied. It was only people thought they confirmed it because he would hang out around people who were pro-Nazi. So no one really knew if the director was actually pro-Nazi. But
how can you hang out with people that are pro-Nazi? And
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Because that's crazy.
But yeah, it is absolutely insane. So yeah, over the years, over filming, The Wizard of Oz had some controversy behind it and a lot of casualties on set. Mm-hmm. Many, plethora. But I will definitely say throughout its ups and its very low downs, it became one of the most beloved classic movies of all time in Hollywood. And it will probably go down in the Hall of Fame as one of the most iconic movies in cinema history.
Most definitely.
Because also at the time, it was one of the first, I think it's called Cinecolor movies, mm-hmm. where it was the first movie that ended up going from black and white to color.
Crazy.
They never really did that back then. Yeah. That was one of the first movies to ever do that.
How beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. So all I have to say is to The Wizard of Oz and to, the original cast, even though they are no longer here with us, mm-hmm. thank you for our childhoods and suffering and going through all that to literally make one of the most iconic films in cinema history.
They endured so much to make that piece of art.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm saying I want to just give a moment of appreciation to all of the cast and crew and everyone who had to endure all that on set, because I couldn't even imagine going through any of that.
No.
I really couldn't. But in the end, it became a successful hit. But what's crazy is if it never played on national television like that, who knows if it ever would have went the way that it did. Because that's the reason why it became a classic. And that's crazy because, like you said, families do gather and watch it on holidays. It's one of the most watched films of all time. But that is the first half of the world of The Wizard of Oz. So, as we all know, this is the wicked world of The Wizard of Oz. So, where does wicked come from? How does it relate to The Wizard of Oz? Is there any connections? Is there similarities? Does the story intertwine? Well, yes. But what if I told you that Wicked was actually made by a fellow fan of The Wizard of Oz?
Fanfic.
That's what I'm saying. It technically was. It technically is a fanfic. So, now we're going to talk about the history and facts of Wicked, which all of this is newer information, and obviously I'm going to call myself out. I'm a huge Wicked fan. So are you, Hannah? Because you grew up with The Wizard of Oz Wicked, and it's one of your favorite musicals. So,
I love Broadway. I love musicals. But I've never actually seen the Broadway play.
What?
Wicked. No. I've seen the movie, like the first part.
Okay.
I did whenever you find something on social media that you're interested in, like a piece, like a movie or a show or something, and
absolutely.
you see like parts of it, and you look up like what it's kind of about.
Yes.
That's what I've done. But I've never I don't know the full story. So I don't know what's going to happen in Wicked Part 2.
Oh my.
I know kind of a little bit.
She's not ready.
But I know I'm going to cry.
She will. She will.
So
you really will. You really will. Oh my god.
But I love plays. I've been in so many musicals. I think it's about 8.
Wow, that's crazy.
8 musicals I've been in.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
We love a musical.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've done one.
That'd be so much fun. I feel like that'd be so much fun to do.
Yeah, it would be. We can still do it at our local theater.
That'd be so much fun.
It's just so much harder to do as an adult whenever you have work and responsibilities.
Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about right. But which is crazy because this book was turned into a play, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So the Wizard of Oz inspired this author. His name is Gregory Maguire. Gregory Maguire, which I have. Everyone listen, don't attack me. Don't attack me. Don't attack me. When I say this, at your own risk. The book Wicked, The Lives and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which is what he wrote. That was what the book was called.
Yeah.
That book was written in 1990, and he wrote it basically at the time where he's seen a lot of things going on in London. He grew up in London for a little while, so he was writing about a lot of the things that he's seen politically going on in London, and also what was going on in Germany, which is going to tie back to The Wizard of Oz. See how it all connects.
Crazy.
So he actually hated everything about Hitler. He couldn't stand him. I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah.
He couldn't stand Hitler, hated Hitler.
Not a good guy.
He wanted to kind of write the story, take the story of The Wizard of Oz and kind of flip it on its head and kind of question what was good and what was evil. That's what he wanted to do, which I do respect that because, I mean, I feel like a lot of things in life are very misunderstood, and like the character Elphaba was very misunderstood just for being different.
True.
Which is what Wicked is all about. Wicked talks about diversity, and it also talks about queerness, and also, honestly, a lot of weird things. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, read at your own risk. There's a lot of weird shit that goes on in that book. It's not meant for kids. It's not. So
have you read the book?
I've read a little. And I don't want to talk about it too much, but for all my younger viewers, what I'm about to say, viewer discretion is advised. Um, I can't believe I'm saying this and this is going to be put out online. Okay, well, in the book, there's a scene where one of the characters is getting down with a leopard. And yeah.
What?
Yes, you heard me correctly. That happens.
I don't
that happens in the book. I've read that page.
That makes me nauseous.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. But also, a lot of the characters in the book were a lot worse than in the play and in the movie. Like, for example, Bach was actually a creep. He was actually a peeping Tom. He would peep in some of the Shiz University windows and just watch girls change.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's up.
Yes, I mean, we'll come back to that. But I mean, Bach is a little questionable in my opinion because of the stuff he does to Nessa Rose in the end. But we'll come back to that later. but yeah, the original novel of Wicked has a lot of, excuse my French, fucked shit in it. And I really recommend you read it at your own precaution just because there's a lot that goes on in it. It's a very political book. It's very, 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 very political. And it talks about his political status, which I'm not going to lie, his views are not necessarily incorrect. They're not incorrect. It's just the way that he goes about it and the way that he writes about it can be taken as problematic. Oh. So you very much so read it at your own discretion. But
I kind of want to read the book.
Well, I have it in the background, but this is actually I have 2 copies. This is my new copy. But yes, this is the Wicked book. Yeah. If you guys are not watching it through YouTube, I'm showing Hannah my Wicked book that I have, and it's the one that has Cynthia and Ariana on the front of it. But that's the book.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh. It's a really thick book. It's a lot that goes on. But it's really crazy. The book is very dark. It actually touches on a lot of deeper subjects, and it goes more into Elphaba's upbringing and also why she is the way that she is. Yeah. So I would say if you like more mature books and you can handle realism, read the book. And if you are also very politically in tuned, read the book. But I'm gonna warn you, like I said, viewer discretion is advised. Yeah. But besides the book, it was a fan favorite throughout, the Wizard of Oz community. It became kind of low key a saving grace. It kind of brought life again to the Oz community, and this comes into Stephen Schwartz, which I don't know if you know, but Stephen Schwartz is actually the one that wrote the musical Wicked. Oh, okay. He read Gregory Maguire's book and actually saw the potential of it becoming a musical. Yeah. He was like, ooh, I have an idea. I can turn this into a musical. And he actually pitched it to a writer named Winnie Holtzman, who is a woman writer. She was one of the first one of the ones to work on Wicked. So Stephen Schwartz and Winnie were the 2 people that started Wicked. They had a concept and eventually they pitched the idea to Stephen. Stephen pitched the idea to the writer, and he was completely okay with it. He never thought that the book would even get to a point where it could even have its own musical. Yeah. And that's when they started doing test rounds for the musical. Its very first adaptation was done in San Francisco, and it was just a test run, and people actually did like it, and over time it became a fan favorite, and because it became so popular in San Francisco, it was eventually moved to New York City. Broadway. And that's where it was put in the Gershwin Theater, and they casted Adina Menzel and Christian Chenoweth as Glinda and Elphaba. And I guess you could say the rest was really history when it came to Wicked. And that's really how Wicked came from a book to I guess you could say, a play. And it happened so quickly. And here's the thing about Wicked, though. when Steven Schwartz thought of it as a musical, he always knew that he could make it bigger. Because obviously, this is the world of The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is a huge branch. I mean, Oz itself is a massive thing.
True.
So he wanted to take the world and just expand it. And what's crazy is, to make this movie, it took over 20 years to actually find the right director to make this movie. And then came along the incredible, the fearless, the most incredible director of the century, John M. Chu. He is the director of Crazy Rich Asians.
I've never seen that movie. I've seen like clips of it in the trailers, but I've never seen the actual.
But no, from what I have read online, and from what obviously, as you all know, I'm a massive Ariana Grande fan, and from what I have seen through her and from what she has said about him, he is a wonderful director. He is very passionate about his work. He honestly earned to be the director because, little fun fact for non-Wicked fans who are watching this, or if you are a Wicked fan, maybe you know this. I know Hannah may not, because this is some John M. Chu lore. But he actually saw Wicked when he was a kid. His family was immigrants, and they came to the United States hoping for a better life. Yeah. And that's when he saw Wicked, and he almost saw it as an opportunity of wanting to make cinema. So Wicked was his introduction to cinema. That's what made him want to create cinema. And he always wanted to direct Wicked. And that's when Steven Schwartz and him met, and Steven Schwartz just fell in love with his directing, was like, you, and picked him, and that's how he became the director of Wicked.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And now on to, how did it become a movie? Well, like I said, it was beloved. It went from being a book that was liked by Aussian fans around the world to more... that's what they're called, Aussians.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Aussians.
Aussians.
It went from the fans to almost like this big pop culture phenomenon. I mean, Wicked sold out thousands, like many of times over the years. I mean, when the original cast was there, I can only imagine how much that theater was packed.
True.
I mean, God, imagine seeing Idina Menzel before, like imagine like seeing her like the beginning of Wicked. Like imagine seeing Kristen Chenoweth, Idina Menzel in Wicked, like back then.
Yeah.
Could you?
That would be crazy.
I would die. I would die. Literally, oh my God, I would die. But yeah, when it came to the movie, it was a lengthy process. Like I said, it took over 20 years to find a director, found him.
Yeah.
And same went for the casting. They went through a lot of different actresses. And a lot of different people were rumored to be playing Glinda. One of them being Amanda Seyfried. She was rumored to be playing Glinda. Dove Cameron.
That would be crazy.
Those were rumored to be some of the roles. Elphaba, I didn't know much of them, but I did know that a few celebrities were trying out as her. But in the end, everyone knows that Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo both won their roles as Elphaba and Glinda.
Which Ariana is your girl.
She is, and she deserved the role. I don't know if you know Ariana's history with Oz, which I'm going to touch on real quick because I know a lot of people are going to be like, you cannot not talk about Oz history and Ariana. I know, I'm getting there. Ariana grew up loving The Wizard of Oz. Judy Garland was like her idol growing up. She loved Judy Garland, Whitney Houston, Madonna. Those were her girls. And Ariana loved The Wizard of Oz. She actually dressed up as Dorothy for Halloween one year when she was a kid. And she actually was in her hometown theater when she, Boca. When she was a kid, she played in The Wizard of Oz.
Aww.
Right? Like she was an OG Wizard of Oz Wicked fan. She went to go see Wicked multiple different times on Broadway, and while she was on a vacation with her family on a cruise ship, she saw Kristen Chenoweth performing, and they went backstage. Kristen brought her backstage and gave her a little thing of pink glitter body wash, and Ariana literally said that she admitted to using it every night and just manifesting that one day that she would be able to do what Kristen did and be Glinda.
Aww.
And then also in 2013 on an interview, someone asked her if she could play any role in a movie, what would it be? And she said Glinda in Wicked. And in 2022, she was cast as Glinda.
I feel like she is the perfect Glinda. Like,
Oh, is
she
it
just matches
2021?
her features perfectly, and her
That's
singing
what I'm
voice. Like,
saying.
her vocals
That's
are
what I'm
amazing.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
And to do the high, like, soprano of Glinda is wow. But I also feel like Cynthia definitely deserved that role. She is amazing. I think she's
That's
one of my
what I'm
favorite
saying.
like actresses right now.
Cynthia Erivo. I don't even have words for Cynthia Erivo. By the way, I want to say something real quick on topic of Wicked before we get into like the deep dive of all this.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia Erivo, literally, thank you for protecting Ariana Grande during the fucking premiere.
That is wild. I cannot believe that happened.
Yeah, I know. When I seen that, I was fuming. Oh, I was fuming.
Yeah.
Because, okay, off topic for a second, but most of us here are probably Ariana Grande fans, but I know you probably don't know this, but you probably do. But Ariana suffers with PTSD. Like, she has bad PTSD, and literally anyone knows that any type of abrupt movements or like sudden loud noises or movements can trigger a person to go into like that PTSD mindset.
Yeah.
So legit, when he ran up and did that to her, she was completely freaked out.
Yeah,
like,
you can tell.
Yeah. So all
Horrible.
I'm gonna say is that Cynthia Erivo, thank you for doing more than the bodyguards. We all know that you have a bigger schlong than all of them.
Yeah, she was on it.
She was. That's her girl. She don't play.
No.
Oh, she don't play. Ariana Grande is her girl. You don't
also,
understand.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate her arms?
Oh my God! Stop. Stop. No, Cynthia. Guys, I'm gonna say it right now. Cynthia Erivo, fine. She's so fine. Gorgeous girl. Gorgeous girl. I'm gonna be so for real. Her muscles, oof. Beautiful.
And I want to say, I feel like not everybody can pull off being bald.
Oh, Cynthia.
Like, even, like, men. I'm talking about all people. Men, women, whatever. But she pulls that off. She looks amazing.
She does. Oh, Cynthia.
And I feel like her septum piercing is perfect for her.
Oh, it is. So, yeah, love to Cynthia Erivo because she deserves the same amount of love because, guys, this is not an Ariana Grande tour. It's a Wicked press tour. Right. So give everyone their flowers.
Yeah. But Ariana deserves her thing.
Yes, she does. I'm just so upset because I feel like everyone has been so crude to Ariana, which I want to talk about this at the end of the video because it's a topic of discussion, but the press tour. We're going to come back to it. We're going to talk about the press tour after we talk about all the history because this press tour, extremely messy. So if you want to hear about the press tour, stay to the end of the video because, Hannah, I have a lot to tell you about that. But, like I said, it took them a while, but, after they got cast, they started filming in December 9th of 2022, and it wrapped in January of 2024. Actually, January 26th, 2024. However, earlier this year, March 2025, some of the cast was called back to do reshoots. Reshoots, I should say. Sorry, my English is not Englishing. But yeah, reshoots.
Oh.
No one really knows why, but people theorized that it had to do with Glinda's origin story. We are actually getting baby Glinda, which I don't know if you've seen, but a actress was cast to play baby Glinda.
Oh.
And we are getting Glinda's backstory a little.
I did not know that.
Yes. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But yeah, we're getting a little backstory on Glinda in Wicked for Good, which is so exciting. I can't wait to learn more about Glinda because I feel like we have to talk about that also, that yes, Glinda was a lot in the first act, but there is a reason to her mannerisms. Yeah. It's because of her upbringing.
Which she does talk about it, like, a good bit in the first movie about her parents.
She does.
And you can kind of tell that, like...
They're very strict on her. Yeah. But, yeah, when it came to the filming, nothing bad happened on set, just minor scandals, which I'm going to be very careful when I talk about this because I know as an Ariana Grande fan, this is very a touchy subject. Yes. But there was when I say this, I'm using quotations, cheating scandal, even though technically, if you want what I believe, I don't think it was a cheating scandal. It was horrible timing. It was horrible timing. So, as everyone knows, Ethan Slater, Ariana Grande. So Ariana Grande was married to this dude named Dalton Gomez, who is a piece of shit. I'm gonna say it right now, piece of fucking shit. He cheated on her with someone else.
Oh.
That's why they got
Crazy.
divorced.
Yeah.
He's a POS. I literally cannot stand him. And then you have Ethan, who his scenario was very different. His was a high school sweetheart. They were together for many, many years. And they just had their child. However, at the time, when she had the kid, they were having some marital problems, which I don't know too much about that because I'm an Ariana Grande fan, not an Ethan Slater fan.
Yeah.
But apparently there was problems in that relationship too, and Ariana and him were both having problems at the same time, and they both just kind of like coped with each other, and at that time they just kind of had like a weird situationship.
Yeah.
And then they both filed divorces for both of their spouses and then got together. Which
I'm not a fan
of that
whole scenario.
I understand.
A lot of people me the wrong way, and I'm sorry to say that because I know you love Ariana.
No, I know.
And I think girl is traumatized and has some issues.
Oh, totally.
So,
I mean, Ariana's been through a lot.
He's the really bad person in this.
I mean, absolutely.
But also, I just don't agree with her actions.
I was gonna say that makes sense. That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, everyone here be respectful and be open-minded to their own opinions. And if that's what you personally think, I think that should be respected.
Yeah.
That's your opinion.
I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but at the end of the day, if you want my honest opinion, I'm happy for her, but I don't foresee this being a long-time relationship.
I hope not.
I want her to be happy, and I wish them nothing but the best. But, yeah. I just have a feeling about some things, and I know some fans are going to be like, Nate, what do you mean? But like, don't you want Ariana to be happy? I do. It's just
with the right person.
I just feel like this relationship came at a time where did she need that support? Absolutely. Did he need that support? Absolutely. Was the timing horrible? Oh, absolutely. I just think that they could have gone about this a whole different way instead of throwing in the whole, because that's also one thing that caused issues with the first release of Wicked for Good. It was a big scandal at the time, and a lot of people didn't want to go see Wicked because they didn't want to support a woman who ruined a man's family, which I understand that, but also it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
But that was one of the only main scandals that happened on the set. As of what we know, obviously this movie was just released about like literally a year ago. We're getting the movie, the new movie, literally this week. So
it's the only scandal we know of.
Yeah, that's the only thing we know of. But as for filming, this was really cool. The entire sets were actually built, like the Emerald City, the of the poppy field.
Yeah,
they planted all those poppies.
That's crazy.
And it was filmed in London, so they had a very big open range area to film. Mm-hmm. So yeah, everything was, half of it was practical, but also half of it was real.
Wow.
Right? And I feel like that's what gave Wicked such a unique look, because it wasn't just like there was, okay, so The Wizard of Oz, it was mostly painted. It was painted with some practical, while Wicked is legit like real structures. Like you could go inside these buildings, you can go inside these shops, and you can go inside like different places and see certain things. Yeah. Or you can walk down the halls of Shiz University and open doors and see rooms. Like they built sets, which is insane.
Yeah.
And same for and they hired some really good people for the film. I want to give an honorable mention to Paul Tazwell. He was the creator and fashion designer for the costumes in Wicked for Good. He was also the costume designer for The Wiz, which is another Broadway rendition of Wicked, but it's actually mostly told through a Black perspective. Oh. And he actually, Paul Tazwell, was the first man to win an Oscar, a Black man to win a Oscar for Best Costume Designer.
Oh wow!
No man in history that was a Black man has ever won that award from the Oscars, and he was the first one. I just wanted to give that honorable mention to him because he did deserve it.
Yeah.
I just want to say the costumes are gorgeous. So that's why I wanted to throw in
Mhm.
that. So between having your beautiful costumes, the big, beautiful sets, the right cast, and yes, there may have been some scandals, but overall, the beauty of the filming was incredible. And with Cynthia Erivo, the talented, I gotta say this. She legit had paint, like the green paint on her, the witch's hat,
Mhm.
the wig, the corset, the boots, the dress, with the corset, a harness, with a broom, while singing live, while filming, while flying across the entire, like, I guess, filming stage.
Yeah.
She was
Props
on
to
wires.
her, because
That's
that
what I'm
is
saying.
so hard to do.
Legit, like, belting.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my
you can
goodness.
find clips of it online. Like, she's legit singing Defying Gravity, like, belting her heart
Her
out.
voice is so beautiful.
I know.
Wow.
Ugh. Well, Cynthia Erivo, if you want to go on tour,
Yes, we'll be there.
we'll definitely be there. But no, like, I just wanted to give that as an honorable mention because she did that. She really did that.
Yeah.
But apparently on set there was a lot of like emotionalness because of this being a thing of their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently filming, when they filmed For Good, they actually had to stop filming because Ariana was crying while they were singing For Good, and she was wearing black mascara. And and if you go on her Instagram, there's the photo. Legit, all here, the whole way down to her neck, black. Just black.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was a lot of crying on set.
Yeah.
Not like it's a bad thing, but I think it's really sweet that they really put their all in.
Yeah.
They gave so much to make this happen.
I know it's a movie, but it's a musical, so I'm gonna relate it to theater. Theater is definitely so emotional.
It is.
And it's just...
Well, Cynthia and Ariana are Broadway girls.
Yeah.
They're Broadway girls.
Yeah. They know that, like, feeling. And for it to be a movie, it's just... wow.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane. And that's what I'm saying. Ariana and Cynthia, they both started on Broadway. That's their foundation. That's where they came from.
Yeah.
So I get why Broadway means so much to the both of them. It just makes sense. But when it came to Wicked, yes, it's so loved and yes, it's so appreciated. But guys, let's talk about how well it did on opening day. When I read you these numbers, I cannot wait to see if For Good ends up surpassing this. Okay. So on opening day in the United States was 114 million people. That's how much it grossed in the release day. Worldwide, $164 million opening day.
That's crazy.
It is one of the most, if not the most highest grossing movie in one of cinema history.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
It does, because this is the first Oz adaptation, proper Oz adaptation. And technically since 1939.
And I think it was very anticipated.
It was. Well, it took 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years to even find a director. Because keep in mind, they were off and on again with directors. Like they would find a director and then they would try and cast and then it wasn't the right time. And then they would kind of pitch the idea and then they would come back to it. Yeah. And then they would try and recast and then it just wasn't the right time. It was just off and on. Find a director. It wasn't good enough. Oh, they wanted to do this. Oh, they couldn't do that. Oh, the budget wasn't this. Oh, but they need more for this. Like, it just never lined up until they found John M. Chu. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, when it came to all of Wicked and Wizard of Oz, it both are very cult classic movies, and they will both go down in history in the Oz world as being most beloved. Mm-hmm. But obviously, we have the world of Wicked. We have the world of the Wizard of Oz. They both come from the same story, which is the Wizard of Oz. Now, the question is, how does it tie in? Where do the Wizard of Oz and Wicked connect? Well, I'm just going to say, when we talk about this, there are going to be minor spoilers. But keep in mind, the book and the movie have been out for years.
I will just say that I got spoiled.
She did. I'm so
Learning
sorry.
about this.
I'm so sorry.
When we were debriefing.
So keep in mind, guys, I have seen the musical. Well, okay, I've not seen the musical. I have watched. Okay, so I don't know what the exact term for it is. I think it's called a slime tutorial. That's what they call them, a slime tutorial, and it's just basically a movie, well, a musical that technically is filmed.
Oh.
Because you can't film musicals.
Yeah.
So you think that means the person's secretly like.
Oh.
That's why it's titled as a slime tutorial, because if it's titled as Wicked Broadway blah blah blah,
yeah,
they can get sued.
Ah.
So, yeah. So, where does Wicked and the Wizard of Oz tie? Well, as everyone knows, if you've seen Wicked, Wicked Part 1 takes place way before Dorothy drops in. I mean, years before Dorothy drops in. I almost said Dorothy. But yeah, way before Dorothy drops in. Legit, Elphaba and Glinda, which Elphaba, Wicked Witch of the West, Glinda, the Good, they were in Shiz University. That was their college. They were roommates. And at first, like I said, they absolutely hated each other, couldn't stand each other, and they ended up becoming really good best friends. More like loathing each other, which in the book, their relationship is very interesting. That's also why I say read at your own discretion, because their relationship is... Gelfie does exist to a degree. I will definitely say Gelfie does definitely exist to a degree.
Okay.
Absolutely. Their relationship is very interesting. But in the end, when it comes to Glinda and Elphaba, obviously everyone knows how The Wizard of Oz ends.
Yeah.
So in the end, when it comes to the demise of Elphaba, it's very sad. But before that happens, where does Dorothy drop in? I had to make that pun. But so after defying gravity, which that's how part 1 ends, with defying gravity.
Right.
And then you get the blank. We get, in the musical, there is about an intermission. I think it's like a 20-30 minute intermission. While with us, the director wanted us to give a year so we could watch the movie, grow with these characters, love these characters, get to know these characters. So when we go in for good, we are like completely just blindsided. So how does Dorothy come into play with this? How does she get to Oz? Well, as everyone knows, when defying gravity happens, Elphaba poofs. And if you watch The Wizard of Oz, she hides away in a castle. And Elphaba does have her own castle. However, in Wicked for Good, she actually has her own secret hideout.
Oh.
That's where she hides out so no one can find her.
Yeah.
She jumps from the castle to the hideout so she won't get caught.
Makes sense.
So, in the movie, Madame Morrible, which again, light spoilers, guys, Madame Morrible wants Elphaba to come out. And prior to this, Glinda and Elphaba got into a fight over Glinda finding out that Fiyero and Elphaba have been kikiing. But let's just say that some pettiness happens, and Glinda kind of puts an ear in, being like, well, you know that she'll do anything for her sister, like that's her baby sister.
Yeah.
And that's when Madame Morrible walks up to the wizard and goes, I may have an idea how to get Elphaba out of hiding. And that's when the wizard goes, what if you use her sister? Because of the two ideas given back to back, she ends up doing this. She creates a tornado, but in the time of her doing that tornado, sweeps up a house in Kansas. And here comes dear old Dorothy Gale, and as Glinda calls the dog, Dodo. So they get caught up in Madame Morrible's tornado. And keep in mind, they did it while Nessa was around, which, if you don't know who Nessa Rose is, she is Elphaba's sister, and she is the Wicked Witch of the East. She's the one that has the silver/ruby red slippers, which belonged to her mother, which Elphaba and Nessa shared the same mom. So, Nessa's around the area where Dorothy drops in, and everyone knows what happens to Nessa. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Poor Nessa.
Poor Nessa. After in the musical, she got the ability to walk.
Oh.
But in the movie, everyone knows that that does not happen because the talented and beautiful Marissa Bodie is actually paralyzed.
Oh.
So they are doing their own rendition.
Yeah.
So instead of her walking, she will actually be flying.
Oh. Okay.
So, which I loved. I think that's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
Because I didn't agree with the whole trying to make Nessa's character arc all about her disability. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't like that.
No.
So the fact that the directors kind of changed that, good. Plus,
Yeah.
shout out to Marissa Bodie. We love you.
Yes.
Me and Bach. We love you. But yeah. So the house drops in, lands on Nessa, and that's where the whole "Who killed my sister? Who killed the Wicked Witch of the East? Was it you?" That's where it all ties in.
Yeah.
And the reason why they were so petty in The Wizard of Oz was because, well, they just had that fight about Fiyero, which, spoiler alert, but they had a little fight about the boy, and also because she knew about her sister being dead, and not to mention, she took the shoes that belonged to her mother
Mm-hmm.
and put them onto Dorothy. Like, those shoes belonged to Elphaba's mom, and Glinda put them on her feet out of pettiness.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So I just want to put that out there, because that, if we're going to connect the world of Oz, that's technically why she did it, out of technically pettiness. Which is absolutely insane.
Yeah. Okay, girl.
But that's what happened. But yeah, and that's also why Elphaba wanted the shoes back. It's not because of, oh, I want to rule them. They'll give me the power to rule the world.
Yeah.
Elphaba put the power onto the shoes. She put the spell on the shoes. So she knows the power of the shoes.
Yeah.
Not to mention, they were her mothers who died giving birth to Nessa.
Yeah.
So, of course, she would want something to remember her mom.
Right.
So, in my opinion, I don't even blame Elphaba for wanting her mom's shoes back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, if I had to capture her and block her in a room to get my shoes back, shit. I mean, do what you gotta do. I understand Elphaba. I get you, girl. I get you, girl.
I get you, girl.
And, everyone knows how it ends in the end. For good happens right before the whole melting scene, and well, that's when the Dorothy escapes, and Elphaba meets her demise. And that's technically how the world of Wicked connects, really.
Yeah.
It all happened because Madame Horrible wanted, we call her Madame Horrible.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
They just wanted her to get Elphaba out of hiding. Yeah.
That's so sad.
That's what I'm saying.
That's so sad.
And it's so sad because all Elphaba was doing was legit fighting for the animals' rights, because at the time, the whole reason why Elphaba ran away, the whole reason why she wanted to, help the animals was because, well, her parents weren't necessarily the greatest to her. I mean, her father barely gave her attention, and Dulcibert, which was her caretaker, was the one that raised her. So she's very connected to these talking animals. So for them to get their rights stripped away, I don't blame Elphaba for doing the things that she did. All she's trying to do is fight for equal rights, which comes back to the whole plot of The Wizard of Oz. It released around a time where there was so much political shit going on in the world, and they needed that escape. So to create the world of Oz for an escape, and then you also have the director being somewhat maybe a Nazi, and then you go into Gregory Maguire, who legit hated Nazis.
Yeah.
And then you go into Elphaba, who's standing up for human rights.
Yeah.
So the entire plot of The Wizard of Oz, the whole plot of Wicked, all connects to everyone being treated equally and being equal.
Which is a great message.
That's what I'm saying. So at the end of all of Wicked, at the end of all of its good, its bad, it's in between, the whole overall message is that there is good, there is evil, there is a balance.
Yeah.
There are things that are meant to exist, and things are not always what they seem, and that's why you need to look in between the lines. And that's what really The Wizard of Oz taught us, is that there is magic, but with magic, there does come a price.
Yeah.
And with that, that actually concludes the history and deep dive into the world of Wicked and The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, this was such a fun episode.
I
enjoyed learning everything.
So what are your thoughts on after me reading all of our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful notes?
Yeah, because if you don't know, Nate and I kind of switch off.
Yes.
He talks about more of like the pop culture stuff, and I talk more about the paranormal stuff.
Yes.
So this was such an interesting take. Right. I obviously am a Wicked fan.
Yeah.
So this was so interesting, and to hear more about The Wizard of Oz, it's always fun to hear more about a cult classic.
It really is, though.
So yeah, this was such a fun episode.
It was. Well, guys, all I'm going to say is this. By the time this releases, Wicked for Good will either be in theaters or is about to be in theaters. I don't know how many days it's going to be when this gets uploaded, but if it releases beforehand, this is your sign. Buy your tickets.
Yes.
Go see Wicked for Good. Take your family, take your friends, dress up, celebrate the world of Oz, because this is a generational classic thing, and The Wizard of Oz, The World of Oz, L. Frank Baum's book and legacy is going to live on for many, many, many centuries.
Yeah. So, we're definitely watching it.
I cannot wait. I'm going on opening day.
Yes.
Literally manifesting for my popcorn bucket.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I don't like people, so I will not be going opening day.
You will not going opening day?
Crowds make me anxious.
I have to go. Like, it's a must. Growing up loving The Wizard of Oz and Wicked, like,
and it's your girl.
It's Ariana Grande. Like, I cannot not. Which now, before we close this off, I will mention the press tour real quick because I need to put some of you fans in your damn place. I'm sorry to say it to the podcasters and to the YouTubers. Listen, guys, I'm mad at y'all. First off, the Brazil fans wishing death threats upon Ariana because she couldn't make it due to a plane malfunction. What the literal heck? That's disrespectful because she's a celebrity, not Houdini.
Yeah.
So please treat her as such. And as for the red carpet event,
oh my.
So all I'm going to say is to anyone going to the, or if you already went, hopefully the Wicked for Good premiere in New York City goes well. I'm just hoping for the best. I cannot wait to see her outfits and their outfits. Cynthia's going to eat as always.
Yes.
But other than the press tour being a mess, which I feel so horrible for them because they worked so hard on this film. So please be respectful. Yes, please be respectful to the cast and crew.
Yeah.
They're humans, not objects.
Exactly.
Thank you. But, yeah, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart and our hearts.
Yes, thank you for watching this episode.
I hope that you enjoyed, and we will see you on the next episode, and we shall also see you in theaters November 21st. Go see Wicked for Good.
Yes. Do it.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Woo. Popular.